Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackford, and I am the host of the Real Raw You Synergy podcast. And today I'm talking with Solara Rose. And I think I stumbled upon Solara through another partner. And I got to her website and she talked about the science of quantum physics. And I saw she did holographic energy. And all of a sudden I'm like, who is this person? And I don't know who she is. So I started to go on YouTube and hunt down some interviews, and I just fell in love with her vibe and her message. We're going to talk about presence, flow, creative power, holographic activations, and there'll be a little bit of magic in here too. So welcome everyone to the call. And Solara, I want you to take us back just for a second. I don't always like to go into too much background, but how did this start for you? How did you make this deeper connection with the universe and the galaxy and the fifth dimensional energy that you are?
Yeah. Well, so it's a very long story, but I'll just start with saying that, yeah, right. I'm sure for all of us who are experiencing these frequencies, I came in with remembrance. So I started having memories at a very early age, and I didn't understand fully how to integrate that into this dimensional reality and this experience. And so for the good 25 to 30, first 30 years of my life were just all catalytic experiences. So situations that were beyond my control, where I was moved and guided into situations, and I was forced to surrender and to learn to trust and go deeper and deeper within myself. And, it's interesting because in and unto itself, it's a bit of a paradox, because we learn to surrender fully to gain ultimate control and power and direction in our reality. But I had to go through those catalytic experiences first. And so through each one of those, I received an activation, an upload of what I would consider to be massive data sets, intergalactic information and intelligence, connecting into source, connecting into other light beings from other galaxies, star councils, all of this. And then, it's interesting because books would then find me that would confirm what I had just experienced right after I would go through an initiation. And so I just had to keep trusting it, and so I'm very thankful that this is more mainstream now, so that all of us can be speaking about it, sharing about it, and just supporting one another in the empowerment of these codes and expressing them on the planet. So so just a big fusion of events, having those memories, having the catalytic experiences, learning how to integrate all of it, learning how to trust it. So that's that's a quick version.
Right. It does seem that you really trust it. And, lately I've been playing with some creativepreneurs that are playing with being this fifth dimensional energy and really bringing their creativity to the world and to an audience of the world. And you had done that so beautifully on your site. Do you want to talk a little bit about your creative process? I mean, not just for, web or online marketing, but for the entire, what is your creative process in life?
Yes, this is so good. And this is, I feel like, a huge part of my soul mission, and all of us really, is to just fully activate and illuminate and animate our cosmic creator avatar. And so I love to go into the visionary spaces and just think about, how do I want to invent myself? How do I want to utilize all these colors, these codes, these frequencies, these tones that are coming through? How can I take all of that information, intelligence, and weave it into something that is vibrant, vital, pigmented, HD, voluptuous, and inspiring to other people, to act as a catalyst and inspiration for them to awaken their own creative potential, because our potential is innately creative. So it really just becomes about switching ourselves all the way on and looking at, in the realm of infinite possibilities, where I can create and have and enjoy anything. What do I want to create? How do I want to architect myself? How do I want to architect my life, my surroundings, my business? And I just go there and I follow my flow of free energy. So if anything lights up or starts to feel really electric and exciting to me, I just follow that stream and I just start bringing it into form.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have this program called Quest, and that's exactly what we teach people how to do. So, but there's some nuggets in there about that allowance to really let this come through. Let's talk about how to get into, you might use the word surrender. I use the word allowance. So that you can allow this flow to craft out and really be architected out. Do you have more specifics there? It seems like there's more there that I want to dive deeper into.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing up around allowing, because this is a pivotal first step, because we have to open this space. So this is where clearing is really valuable and important. And one of the steps that I take my clients through is a whole life purification. So purification of our body, looking at all of our relationships, looking at everything that doesn't feel aligned or fully in integrity with where we're going. And so opening up the space to clear and cleanse all of those energies within, and to create the space to really receive the felt frequencies of pure source, all of this galactic information, this love, this light, this beauty. So going into spaces of deep meditation, and body listening is very valuable too. So it's where we drop out of the mind and fully into our lower, and they're saying sacral, particularly into our sacral sexual center. And we get to know our own soul. We create those spaces to feel ourselves, to let go, to release, to liberate into the space of total freedom and infinite possibilities, knowing that within the context of that, we are fully supported by source, by universal intelligence, and that it's safe to go there. So creating those spaces to receive and feel and resonate the frequency. And that can be done through visionary work, that can be done through meditation, it can be done through activations. And it's just releasing resistance. Ultimately, it's just about releasing resistance.
I asked you at the beginning of the call if we could do an activation, but I kind of feel like this whole call is going to be an activation, because as soon as I think that people don't acknowledge this in their world, that as soon as we unearth this awareness, for us to just look at it, focus on it, and see it, that it unearths so much of what we're actually asking for in. I mean, that whole ask and receive thing really does work.
Yeah. And that's a great way to catalyze flow too, because when you realize, I just get so giddy about this, when you realize that it's as simple as ask and it's yours, right? When you start to play with that and go, okay, infinite, ineffable intelligence, today I would love to experience, or, I'm calling in these specific types of people to be on my dream team, a part of this legacy that I'm growing, whatever it is, my soulmate, divine life partner. And you start to see those things showing up, and you see the eloquent ease and simplicity of that process of creation, then it just gives you all this fire and fuel to go out and actually create in the physical. And yeah, and thank you for acknowledging that too, because I was just going to say that's usually how it goes when I flow with beautiful, brilliant, powerhouse men and women like yourself who are already so open and activated. It just, the whole thing turns into an activation. And throughout the call, I'll definitely be weaving in cosmic frequencies and tones and colors and codes and all of this for people to receive. And they're all light codes. So another way to get into that space of allowing is to envision yourself just being filled with light. So one of the things I do in my activation space is I guide people to relax deeply, almost like they're going into a hypnotherapy session. So even when you feel like you can't let go anymore, you go to that next layer of depth and you open to receive the light. And then you just start envisioning the light pouring in from the infinite cosmic source field through your channel, through all of your chakras and energy centers, your light and energetic pathways, your physical body, connecting you into the earth, and just course that energy. And you just want to see that light filling you and infusing you. And you can really work up a beautiful, powerful vortex that way. And so that's another way to code yourself. And yeah,
you use the word code, and I don't talk to a lot of people that use that word code. Are there specific codes that you actually, or are they just awarenesses that you call codes?
Yeah, so well, these are different facets of multidimensional intelligence and language. So sometimes what I see, and actually from the infinite source field, there's a primordial space where I get these golden musical glyphs. It's like ancient musical glyphs and technologies, light language, and there are different frequencies and rays of light, and light is information. So when we're calling forth these frequencies, we're invoking revelations, epiphanies, creative ideas, new languaging, new thought patterns, all of this. It all comes through these codes. And that's just the way I see it, because some of it is translated through the voice and through singing. Some is through just light language activation, which is just it would feel like a foreign language to people who haven't heard it before, speaking in tongues, something to that effect. And then just all new, even language in the mental space starts to come through.
I just had an interview with a woman that did light language. And I tell you, every time that she would go into it, I was just like, oh! Yeah, it's really cool stuff. And it's funny because I can kind of do it. It seems that I'm doing it on my own, but I would never do it for a group, right? Because there's a vulnerability factor that I'm still uncovering with it. And but yeah, every time somebody goes into light language and they've got a frequency of it, like there are people that can do it, but they don't actually invoke and activate the frequency or the frequency that I require to bring it to light. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I made a
definitely
whole list, and I'm just like, yeah. And one of the things on the list is, I know you speak a lot about being more present. And for me, that has been my key to really having ease in almost every area of my life. Will you talk a little bit about presence? And for those people that know that they're not present and their head is always going and spinning, can you kind of narrow it down to some of the practices or techniques to help people be more present?
Absolutely. So this is really valuable, particularly for empaths and people who are highly telepathic, to just even stay in your own zone sometimes can feel like, it requires a lot of energy to do that. And so one of the very first things that I suggest is developing what I call your wireless sovereign connection to source. So instead of going into the headspace, just be in a fluid, continual conversation with the divine, and however you connect into and relate to that energy as your friend, your companion, your life partner, in all of this, and just have that conversation open. And remember that everything that you're manifesting and co-creating in your reality is drawn to you via that connection, via your connection to the infinite fabric of universal abundance. And so just keeping that open and going, okay, if I need anything, if I need support, you can even activate presence, like right now, I really want to be in my own zone, in my own lane. Can you support me, please, with just finding that laser lucid clarity so I can be here? And that also establishes sovereignty. So that energy is always moving in us and through us, in us and through us. And if we can remember to always be, instead of pressing our energy out and giving our power away, to always be just directing that flow of life force and abundance into ourselves, we get all kinds of power. We're in that solid connection to source. We're fully supported throughout our journey. And that becomes so much fun that we don't even want to go out here anymore. We don't want to be in our headspace about anything that's not with us currently. So that's one of the main things. And then to also, on a really practical, tangible level, just do something that will kind of give you a loving, healthy shock. So put on the cold water for a few seconds and let the cold water just kind of like give you a fresh burst and awakening, or go outside for a nice jog, something that can, just get you out of your head, into your body and into the present moment. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that is key, like being connected and even having the sensual aspects of being more present.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so let's go there for a minute. That's so good.
Oh my God. Well, just talking about it again, that just like brings me right here, right now. One of the things that I'm doing is I'm putting together a course to help people get rid of the head noise, which has been one of the gifts to going down this galactic stream of consciousness. So I just want to know on a personal, real raw level, would Juice have head noise anymore?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
you
do
do.
for sure. The way that that shows up for me in my reality, well, it's not so much head noise. From me, I feel I'm very, I don't almost go to say it's just acutely telepathic, so I can feel whenever anybody comes into my field. And so then my challenge and opportunity becomes to not plug into or connect into that energy, because depending on the energy, sometimes it has a pull or sometimes it's trying to come in. And so I've got to set up technologies or learn how to alchemize that energy really effectively so that it doesn't impact my own presence. But I'm really great about not getting super in my headspace, because and one of the ways that I do that is via trust of my own pleasure. I know that things manifest at just lightning speed when I'm not in resistance to myself. And that looks like, okay, what's going to feel like the next most pleasurable thing I can do in the next moment. And I've created enough fluidity in my life where I can just follow that pretty consistently. So if I start to feel any resistance or tension, I'll just go do something that feels beautiful and luxurious and exciting for me. Maybe I'll go out for, just treat myself to some coffee and some chocolate, or I'll go to one of my favorite stores that, or I'll just melt into the visionary space, just whatever feels really great in that moment, to let all of that clear until I can come back to a space of, total clarity.
Yeah, yeah, truly changing your environment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, changing your environment, changing your sensory activation. So that, which brings me, I was trying to save this till a little bit later. Let's talk about Shakti, and go for it. I'm just gonna start there. You just go.
Yeah, so this is great. So this is our power, our potency, our pleasure, our divine, feminine, expressive energy, joy, celebration. And it's really the space of deep letting go too. It's that being in the wild flow, wild divine union, passionate union. It's where you just let go of all control, all of the hows, all of the need to knows, every detail and step of the way. And you just surrender fully into the exhilaration of the ride. And that kind of, it just opens all of these portals for free energy to start flowing into you, because you know that in that you're fully supported. And so letting go and awakening our Kundalini life force, our connection to the earth and all the sacred technologies and, just like essential oils and crystals and all of these beautiful things that we get to use to attune our frequency really these sonic frequencies, because galactic frequencies are sonic. It's almost like the pitch of a dolphin. It's that fine and that high. And yeah. So when I think of Shakti and feel into it, it's just Tantra. It's sacred union with the divine, complete surrender, wild flow, unbridled joy, and trust.
Right. And how do you bring that into your work? How do you help people activate Shakti in their world?
Yeah. So when I go through the flow mastery course with people, there's 13 dimensions of embodiment, and it's really fun because it's kind of like it's like a primordial mystery meets futuristic X-Men mystery school. And we go through all the dimensions of the embodiment. And when we get to the sacral, it's really just about doing what feels orgasmic to you. So any way that you want to pamper yourself, luxuriate yourself, crystal salt baths, all of this on the really soft, feminine side of things. And then we move into the space of, howling at the moon and drumming and doing tribal dance and just getting into the erotic ecstasy of your beingness and really coming into the power of your being too, like thunder beings, lightning beings, and claiming that power in your body through your voice, in your soul, through dance and physical movement. It's that fiery energy.
Yeah. And who comes to these events? I'm like, I might.
Oh man.
I want to know more. So just talk about it. I try to structure the questions, and then they just come out whenever they do, because I'm curious.
Yeah, so this is always something that is fascinating me because I have such a wide array of clients who come to me. So
Uh-huh.
star seeds and God seeds who are just awakening to this. I had a woman recently come to me, and I just love this story. She was in the really third dimensional business entrepreneurial space, and she went to a cacao ceremony, and this council of Syrians and star beings came to her, and she just started receiving all these brilliant, amazing uploads, and she was like, well, I've got to listen to this. This is fun, this is exciting, and is now creating a complete, like a massive life shift into this new dimension. So people who are just awakening, people who are really wanting to channel their gifts into form and create a business, a lucrative, business and legacy out of their gifts, elite performers, people who have been in the coaching and the transformation industry for 30 plus years, who are just sages at what they do. Some people who are I'll just say in the like the famous sphere, like their husbands or wives are anchors on news channels and sports channels and things like this. So they're housewives who are wanting to like develop all of this and are really excited about it. And there's people from all different backgrounds and you're just awakening to what is accessible to all of us and super curious about it, want to explore it, want to master it also.
I feel like I'll do these experiences and I'll come home and and it always awakens me in so many ways, but there's something about you and your work that's like really expressive, for lack of a better word. So I mean, have you and when you talk to you, you're actually kind of seem to be reserved and quiet. So let's talk about like, I mean, I'm here in this life to live this full, real, raw expression, whether it is me online or me in the real world and travel, right? So let's talk a little bit about developing more expression.
Yeah. So this is, movement is a great way, but anything you can do to get in your physical body, singing is very powerful for exercising the vagal nerve, which controls so many other functions in our body. And it helps to tone the voice so that we feel more comfortable and confident utilizing it, expressing ourselves. Getting into our core power is really important too. So okay, cool. So the energy is guiding me to this is really important, because when we start to awaken our potential and start to receive fully the abundance, the frequencies that we are, we've got to create this beautiful space to receive it. And one of the ways that shows up is in the digestive system. So it's creating space in our, like getting a really strong, healthy core to receive these codes and these frequencies is really important. So physical exercise, movement, anything that builds stamina and resilience, really bioavailable nutrition plan is helpful. Any way that you can express. So if you think of expression as an outward flowing movement, so you want to balance that soft, feminine, inward, allowing, coming internal space with the giving and the expression of that energy. And so what I recommend is anything that builds strength, that builds stamina, core exercises, yoga, physical movement, just actual singing, dancing, and just practicing using your voice in any way that you can. Communications with loved ones and relationships, if you are online doing videos and live streams, things like that, or just even in your private space until you get more confident in that, just speaking your desires out loud to the universe, powerfully singing your desires out loud, like this, to exercise your expression.
Just wow. And it's so funny, I was like, I felt like making a checklist when you're going through it, because I was like, how many times do we hold back from what we say? We hold back from who we are. It just seems, especially, as you were going through, I was thinking of some other clients that I was working with, and I was like, gosh, sometimes you just want to go up and shake them and say, show up. You know, like, you're there, you know, don't you see that you're there? Just show up.
Yeah.
And yeah. But yes, I think that we don't voice our desires. We don't even voice them to ourselves. We're afraid,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're afraid to have these desires because of, you know, whatever has happened in the past. Do you have clearing techniques that you use to clear out some of the stuff that is or loosen it up to shake it out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. And a lot of those are visionary technologies that I use. So
Uh-huh.
one of them is coursing diamond light codes through my body. And I just envision myself as an Akashic field of energy. So imagining like hexagons or octagons, um, facets of a diamond, all representing facets of your inner and outer worlds. So seeing to the level of molecules and atoms in cells. When you see this energy come in, just see it infusing and cleansing and bathing all of those dimensions of your being, purifying you, and just envision that fully until you feel complete with that process. And sometimes I'll do an ascending spiral of light. So I see it circling around my body, and I just request that any places and spaces within my being, within my muscle, fascia, my fibers, my bones, my blood, my joints, anywhere that's really deep in there that needs to be loosened up, I just create a really powerful vortex and accelerate it to the speed of light and ask that all energies that are not in absolute resonance with pure source, pure positive photonic light be returned to the source field, returned into the light of the one to be transmuted. So those are some of the technologies, and just even saying that right now feels really good.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, no, I'm doing it. Yeah, it's so you don't actually have to even identify the things that are sticking you. You're just like,
No.
if it's not divine, goodbye. You know, you could probably pull up the energy that's related to the construct that's sticking you a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like a natural sacred geometry that you invoked. Yeah.
The most sticky energy that I have found is, well, the most two sticky energies are judgment and control.
Right.
Those ones have the greatest effect and impact. So we can explore whether that's arising from within us or there's an external influence. And in either regard, I have found it just much more clean and simple to just powerfully command that energy back into the source field, to surround it with diamond light so that it can feel itself and know itself and remember itself fully, and to just, purify it, bring it back into resonance with its original nature. It just keeps it all simple.
Well, and actually control, I guess, is created from judgment, you know,
Yeah.
right? And if you think about it from the way that, you know, I mean, control almost seems like you can't help it, you know, the OCD control type things, but actually that came from you at one point making some preference or choice around something to to craft that. At least that's how it looks like in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that definitely, like making an agreement. It feels like an agreement with yourself or with somebody else, or things were
Yeah.
supposed to be a specific way, and then if it
Right.
doesn't transpire that way, then to me the energy, so it's the opposite of freedom, it's the opposite of liberation. So anywhere where I'm contracting my own energy, or I feel somebody else trying to contract my energy, I'm just an instant, I'm just going to go this way. I'm just going to liberate into this field over here, because love is a very liberating energy. It's just, I want myself to feel free and sovereign and expressive, and I want that for everybody else too. So how can I honor and cultivate that container? And as we start to experience and feel that frequency more, it just becomes very obvious and apparent where that's not, the energy that we're experiencing. And so we can make new choices.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the other things that I had on my list to talk to you about was the holographic energy that you do. And I know that you're going to gift the list with a free activation for this holographic frequency. But can we talk about like how you cultivate and craft these holographic activations for your audience?
Yeah, of course. So this has been over a 15-year journey for me, learning how to activate in my own personal space. And I actually was opened up to, well, I'll call it magic, self-mastery, these frequencies, these visions through spoken word and prayer. That's how I was activated into it. And so I was doing these really thorough prayer activations in my morning routines, and I was seeing things manifest and show up miraculously throughout my day. And I'm like, well, this is inspiring. We can keep doing this. And then I would go internal, and I started to see all kinds of visions. And at first like, is anybody else experiencing this? It took me a minute to learn how to trust it and to feel empowered in what I was receiving visually. And that eventually awoke me to the holographic Akashic records, where I could see it, and I could see the internal infrastructure of our physical bodies, of nature, of the galaxies, all of this. And so I started receiving powerful, crisp, clear visions of all of this, and, just the infinite cosmos at large.
Wow.
And so mastering that in my own internal space. So I would want to activate new psychic gifts, new technologies. I would want to realign my energy in very specific ways. I would want to clean up certain energies, liberate from certain things, activate new coding, new language. Language has been a huge one for me, because I find that our narrative is really important. So I always want to be telling the narrative of super abundance. And so I would just go, where is this narrative aligned to source and where is it not? And I would invoke new languaging, new codes. I would optimize what I call my divine OS, my physical body, the feelings, the somatic feelings, the visceral feelings in my body, invoking all the pleasure chemicals and pathways in my brain, all of this. And as I started to do that for myself, these really beautiful, pristine activations started flowing through for me to facilitate for other people. And also in that, because I can see energy so clearly, what I do now is every activation is highly unique, specialized, and tailored to the individual. So it's really all about you, what you want to work on, what you want to activate, what you want to feel more of, what you want to manifest in your life and in your reality. And I just look into each beautiful being's unique soul signature, Akashic record, and we just go from there. And they're usually a good 30 minutes, and then the rest of the session is just channeling. You can ask me anything, tap into anything that you want to play with, work on, develop.
Cool.
Yeah.
So can we do a mini thing with me? Can I?
Yeah.
So I am adding a few things to my business. Yeah. And there is hesitation and resistance in doing so. And I've tried to hunt and look for what that actually is. It's like, why am I procrastinating doing this when I want to hurry up and get this out and see what happens, right? When I want to test this. And I am doing this like hold back a little bit, and which is very different for me, because generally I just do business as usual. And I'm not really afraid, but this is something new. So I'm just curious if you could tap into that and give me some insights.
Yeah, of course. So the first thing that's coming through is, do you mind giving me some insight into what the project is? And then the other place and space they're taking me to is relationships. So are there any relationships in your life where you don't feel fully liberated to be the fullness of who you are? So those are the first two things I want to plug into.
So, well, what I'm doing is I'm crafting a real funnel, right? Which I've done in the past, but not in this way. It'll go from the Facebook ad all the way through the whole digital marketing thing. And, I want it to really speak from, authentically the whole thing, right? I want it to be all me. I don't want it to seem like a marketing funnel. I don't want it to seem contrived. I want it to see like, come into my world, be welcomed. And if, and if these opportunities are for you, great. But I want it to be like a big warm hug.
Yeah.
And, and there's very few marketers that are doing that for me to model. There are some. But so that's what I'm doing. As far as relationship, it seems that I'm doing interviews that are a little bit split, because I am having some interviews with real creativepreneurs, and some of them are talking about, like how to do hacks, and I'm like, I'm not, that's, not really where I was going with this conversation. But, since you went there, we can go there. I mean, I want to stay playing in the fifth dimensional field and create and architect my life like you are. So that's kind of what I'm playing with.
Okay. So let's just start. So if you just want to relax for a minute, they're showing me so that the portal behind your chakras, so you're unconscious. So we're just going to start flooding in powerful divine diamond light codes, cosmic power, cosmic life force through your back central channel and central spine, clearing and cleansing out all of those energies, frequencies, and codes, and allowing those energies to then anchor through you and move through you. So they're going to come in from behind into your back channel and move through your chakras and out through the frontal expression of your being. So coming through from behind, moving through and out. So we're going to start powerfully coursing those energies through. And what they're showing me is to just cultivate and create places and spaces where you can really just have a pristine, safe, private sanctuary space where you can activate your own creative vortex, plug into you, your soul, your truth, your quintessence, and all of the codes that are channeling through for you. And to then just organize the funnel. Okay, I'm going to create this piece first. I'm going to create this piece next. I'm going to create this piece next. So to have that organized and laid out for yourself to flow within, and trust yourself deeply. So this is about creating spaces to hear yourself, to tune out all the noise, all the voices, all of the outside opinions and advice, and to really hear yourself pristinely and clearly, and to trust that, because you're creating something new in the business world. You're creating something that's going to help so many people make a shift from old models of business and service into new models of business and service in the fifth dimensional space. And so it's really important to listen to you, to trust you, and to allow those energies to move in you and through you, in you and through you. So opening the space to receive that and to hear yourself and to trust your voice and your guidance. But so that it doesn't feel overwhelming, they're showing me to just go into the visionary space and synthesize all of the elements. So if you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, the 360-degree scope of that funnel, which piece is first, which piece is second. And then once you have that organized, you can be a little bit more creative with the dance of, channeling all the elements of each one of the elements into form, if that makes sense. Just to give the energy some clarity and direction. Those are the main things that are coming through.
That was, wow. Oh, geez.
Yeah. And so any place in space where you're trying to go back to an old business model.
No, that is it. You just nailed it. 'Cause I'm, it's sort of like, I mean, for lack of a better word, it's like, because I'll watch these teachings and trainings, and I've done this for years. Like, I've grown a big list, and, and I want to just add some of my work, to this in a bigger, better way. Instead of me basically growing a list from all these partners and then slap something up against the wall and see if it sticks. I mean, I really want to craft something for them. And, and I'm super excited about it. And at the same time, then I'll be like, all right, let's just make sure we've got all these pieces. And then as soon as I watch the training, then I guess I get into their world. You know, you really nailed it, because then I'm like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
this is beautiful. Oh my gosh, that was great. As soon as you started the energy, my whole back lit up, like it was just on fire. And then I don't know if you noticed, but at one time I was like, it was a burden was taken off my back. I don't even know what the burden was, but I was just like sighed, and I was like, whoa. That's
that's
cool.
great.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, the energy just wanted to be opened and liberated, particularly in that area. And that feels like trust. So they're showing me a golden spine now. It's like I'm seeing this powerhouse goddess just coming through with this ingenious, brilliant, state-of-the-art creation that is channeled solely from you, channeled solely from your genius, your intuitive insights. And so it's really important to listen to yourself and just give yourself that big old permission slip to let go of all the outside voices.
All the noise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Yeah, my honor.
So you still do private sessions and things like that, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Tell us how that works. So do you have packages, and what would you like to offer the list? Yeah. And plus just tell the whole list about your entire world and what you're creating. Because I personally would like to know.
So right now, and actually, I don't know when this is going to go out, but I'm raising all the prices on my activation. So I'm going to be doing 3 packs for $1,000 right now. So if anybody listens to this, now would be the time to do that. So those are energy activations. That's the place in space. We just go into your field and we do what we just did on a much more thorough, deep level. And we work through all the dimensions of your embodiment, and I channel through whatever you want to explore and play with. We can go anywhere in the field with adjusting and aligning and clarifying your energy, getting you on board with your full expression, your creative essence, your soul. And so those are the activations. And then I have my signature course, which is Liquid Nirvana, Thriving in the Flow of Super Abundance. And it's just so lush and delicious and just filled with it's just dynamic. It's so dynamic. So in that, there's 3 core modules that I guide people through. And the first one is the 13 spheres of superabundant flow mastery. And we go through all 13 dimensions of our embodiment. So the chakras in the physical body and outside of the physical body. And each one of them, it's beautiful because they're all so unique. Like when we go into the third eye, and then we're moving into the space of activating your intuitive psychic gifts and technologies. And we go into the crown, we're mastering the mechanics of quantum creation, precision, reality creation. And we go up into the ninth, the soul star, your capacity to channel and flow higher frequencies of light, and how to open that channel wide so that you're fully connected to your power, and, going into the throat chakra and the sacral and all of that. So each dimension has its own flavor and its own color and its own aliveness and rituals. And so it's fun in that way, because we go through all these fun creative, it's literally awakening your creator avatar and opening up to pure flow on all levels. And the second dimension of that is the Liquid Nirvana Opulence Accelerator. So this is where we go into the arts of manifesting immense wealth. So we're talking about becoming an epic powerhouse magnet to your desires, because we magnetize everything in this creation. So it's learning the mechanics of quantum creation at that level. So how to attract immense wealth, and then also, just principles around how to lead and guide and serve from the highest space, so that you're always of the highest benefit to all of your clients. So I call this royal leadership, always instilling confidence and courage in others, and learning how to really lead from a space of absolute abundance and prosperity. And then the third aspect of this is the iconic lifestyle and legacy success. So we move into
you just froze on
how to create your courses, your off-ramps, how to brand. So this is, developing your signature courses, offerings, programs, your iconic branding. So getting into that really beautiful space of who do you want to be in the world? How do you want to express yourself? And just beautiful templates and maps, and I'm really big on resource guides too. So cutting edge resource guides. So who do I know who are the most magnificent creative architects and engineers who can really support people in bringing their vision to full fruition? So yeah, flow, wealth, creative expression. Yeah.
Love that. That's beautiful. And why don't you give everyone your website, and is there a spot we can go to get the free gift, the free activation? Didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I don't have it uploaded anywhere currently. However, I'm just trying to think of ways.
We'll just send it over and we'll put it on when we post this.
Okay, perfect. And then everybody who comes to my website gets a free one-to-one DNA wealth activation just for joining and for us to get to know each other. And so that's there. And my website is solararose.com.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And Liquid Nirvana is right now going through, I'm working with my design team, and we're revamping and relaunching everything. So the course description isn't up on my website, but feel free to reach out to me if you want more details and if you're interested, and we'll explore that. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Anything else that you want to add before we wrap up?
Just deepest praise and appreciation to you. Thank you for doing all that you're doing in the world, the brilliant work that you are bringing through and channeling through, and for facilitating all of these talks and these calls. I know that requires a lot of devotion and love and care, and just presence and mothering. And so I appreciate you for doing this, for offering this to everybody who's plugging in. Thank you for being here with us. I'm excited to play together. If you feel called and inspired to reach out and connect, just absolute appreciation to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.